Check 1, 2. Come on. Hey guys, it's Steve again. Let's talk about how to use a metronome, okay? And some of you are like, all right. Number one, what could be explained about how to use a metronome? You just turn it on and go. Or, oh yeah, man, I don't use metronomes. They make you sound stiff. They create a stiff feel and rigid feel, and I'm more used. I disagree with that. We'll put it that way. I disagree with a metronome making you sound stiff, and I disagree that there is an easy way, well, there's a basic way to learn how to use a metronome, and here's my point on that, okay? Let's say you don't have a metronome. Well, you may want to go out and buy a small one that costs maybe $20 or so, something like that. Or you could get a free app on your phone. There's many free metronomes for your phone, and you can plug in like a little headphone or earbud type of thing into your phone. Or you could plug your phone into your stereo speakers or whatever, okay? For this instance, I have a metronome. It's off the screen right now, but it's on my computer and I have it hooked up, ready to go. Here's what not to do, okay? Let's say you've got your metronome and you turn it on and then you press start metronome, or you press play or whatever it is, and then you start going to town like this, trying to keep up with it. Now, here's what you should do. Instead of the metronome telling you what you should do, you need to tell it what you're going to do. So let's take something basic first. We are going to take the right hand, use it on the snare drum, and just maybe tap out eighth notes like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, okay? I don't care about tempo, meaning speed. You can go slow, medium, or fast, whatever's comfortable for you. My natural tempo is about 1/16. Let's talk about that for a second. You will see a bunch of numbers on your metronome, ranging from maybe as low as 40 way up to maybe 250. Okay? Those are your beats per minute, or BPM. So let's say we had a metronome and we put it on 200. We could sit there for a whole minute and count each click, and by the end of that minute, it would click 200 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all the way around a full minute, it would beep 200 times. So let's say we went to 60 beats per minute. Same type of thing. If we sat there for a full minute and counted how many beeps it did, it would be a total of 60 in that full minute. which, by the way, happens to be seconds. Okay, so it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever the speed is, all the way around a full minute, 58, 59, 60. Okay, so those are beats per minute. My natural tempo may be around 116. You may not know your natural tempo. That's okay. All you got to do is this. All right, just start with that. Maybe you go slower, maybe you go faster. I don't know, maybe it's like that. Okay. Now we have to kind of figure out what tempo that is on your metronome. Now, I bet you that's probably about, gosh, 114? Let's see, I'm going to turn on my metronome here. You'll hear it through the speakers. There we go. So, if we're going about here, I don't, well, that's hard. Let's say we're going slower. We turn on our metronome. That's a little fast. That's at 114, so we might want to go down to 100 or so, I guess. That still seems a little fast. Maybe around 90. Somewhere where you're comfortable. Okay, so there we go. That's good right there. Now sit there for a second. Get the tempo in your head. And then start taking your right hand and hitting the drum with each beep. Now I'm burying the click, so I'll kind of play a little bit behind so you can hear. A little bit too far behind. So you get the point. Then, once you figure out where you're nice and good with that, maybe try the left hand. Okay, and you want to take a minute to get that tempo in your head. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, then what you have to keep in mind is, if it starts sounding like this, you may not know if you're going too fast or if you're going too slow. So if you get out of the metronome, if you get off time, stop, get the tempo back in your head, and then start again. And if you find yourself playing a little fast and you're aware of it, or a little slow and you're aware of it, slow your metronome down. Maybe go to, I don't know, 75 or so. There you go. Now, I didn't get the tempo in my head first. I should. Dun, 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 dun. Getting the tempo in my head. Okay, I started with my left hand. You should start with your right or the left hand, whichever you're most comfortable with. Then, after you've got that real nice and done, jump up in tempo or slow down. It's actually more difficult to go slower. But there is a point where you're going to be going so fast that you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I can't keep up. Okay? That's not the point. The point is to get nice, even time initially. Then you can mess around with feel and push and pull type of stuff. Now, let me kind of explain that. This is where that rigidity scare comes in, where, oh, I don't play with the metronome, it makes drummers rigid or whatever. Well, before you start getting real loose, you have to know where the absolute is. You have to know where that metronome is. And yes, it can be very robotic. But you have to know where those are before you can kind of push and pull around. Okay? You have to know the rules before you break them. The important thing about that is dialing in the metronome to your tempo. Don't just turn it on and start playing. You'll never make it. Well, you might make it, but it's easier to just sit here and go, okay, let's see, let's get real relaxed. What would I do? If that's relaxing for you, good. If this is better, whatever speed you want, then kind of get your metronome in that tempo area. Play with that, and then go faster or slower and kind of play around with it. Maybe do alternating hands. Click, 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 click. Just play around with it. Get used to a certain tempo. Maybe go around the toms or something. I don't know, maybe or maybe work on a pattern that you can make up. Something, be creative. Something like, I don't know. Also, once you get out of the eighth notes of one hand, start new with like maybe alternating. If this right here feels good to you, do that nicely and that feels good, figure out what tempo that is. That might be, for instance, I would guess 150. Oh, maybe 155. Let's see. Might be a little fast. Let's go down to, whoops. That's faster. How about 140? There we go. I need to get the tempo in my head. Da, 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 da. Okay. Again. Keep your exercises separate. Don't just leave the metronome on and try working with that, okay? This first, along with this, and then stop, and then maybe something else where you're nice and relaxed. Figure out what tempo that is, all right? And then go faster or slower from there with that exercise, okay? You may find that each of your beats or rhythmic patterns will have a different natural tempo to them in which you want to play at. Start there. You tell the metronome what to do. Don't let it tell you what to do, all right? So enjoy that. Don't get frustrated, and don't think it's going to make you feel stiff. You got to know where those beats are in order to be, nice and flowing and natural. All right. Thanks again, guys. I'll see you next time.